Hey guys, welcome back.
All right, that's cheers, guys.
Cheers. We're on another episode. I think Mark needed to take a seat. He's had too many of my great
Yeah, I
homes.
can't stand it.
Mojitos,
I can't stand up anymore. I've been wobbling, so they said, sit down, Mark.
So I'm back to playing bartender again, but still here to answer all your questions.
And a good bartender.
Thank you, sir. We didn't even pay him to say that. So I
This
think
is
that
Mark Scarratt again, guys.
with Fidelity Mortgage.
Yep.
Again, thanks for joining us, Mark. I think for this video, a good topic would be to go into some of the down payment assistance programs.
We hear about those all the time.
I know that Fidelity Mortgage offers, quite a few. So if you want to explain and just, I guess, at a high level, would that be the best way? Or Mark, do you have any special ones that you want to highlight? Or
Yeah, we've done a few together, so we'll kind of make this a little conversation between us because
I'm still here though.
Yes, he knows about it, but we've worked them. So let's talk a little bit about two programs, the difference between them, the Georgia Dream and the Georgia Dream Hardship Program.
Right.
Let's jump in first to the Georgia Dream Hardship because that has been successful for a few of our clients.
It's, Georgia Dream has different programs. The Hardship or Hardest Hit Fund is a temporary program, although it's been going on for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And I imagine it'll last at least another year, maybe longer. But the key thing is it's $15,000.
Oh my gosh.
Other Georgia Dream programs are $5,000, which you have to debate whether it's worth it. But the Hardest Hit Fund is one that we promote a lot because $15,000 will often cover all your down payment, in many cases all of the closing costs.
Right. And that's specific to certain counties, right? It's the
Yes,
four
it
counties
is.
are Fulton, right?
There's Fulton, there's DeKalb, there is
We did
Douglas
Yeah,
County.
we did Douglasville before, yeah. And Clayton, I think it is.
Clayton. Yes,
County.
that's correct. It's
And that's
Clayton.
like your Jonesboro, Morrow areas as well. So for that program, what's the minimums, credit score, income limits, that type of thing?
Well, for Georgia Dream, the minimum score is a 640.
640.
Now, we can accept some scores for regular programs, but for down payment assistance, you want to have at least a 640.
And is there a difference in the rate? Say if you come in with a 720 credit score, that person that hits the 640, does rates differ also with Georgia
Not
Dream?
with Georgia Dream.
Okay.
But I can tell you that there are some big advantages with Georgia Dream if you have a 700 or above.
Okay.
They allow you to qualify for more home if you have a 700 or above. But the rate is set by Georgia Dream, and it doesn't matter what your score is.
And I think a couple other factors, because I've researched a lot with this guy right here. 250,000 or less.
Correct.
It's tied to FHA, so it has to be a FHA eligible
It's
property.
an FHA loan. Yes.
Yeah. So if you're looking at a resale, that'll be our job to find you that in those 4 counties, 250,000 or less. I don't think it has to be. We were debating early on if it had to be a single family only, but there are some certain townhomes as long as it's FHA.
Yeah, and there are
eligible.
some condos that allow, if they're an FHA approved condominium, you can even buy a condo.
Yeah, exactly. And then let's talk about, we talked about the hardest hit or hardship.
Hardest hit fund.
Yeah. The Georgia Dream, you're talking about it's 5,000. Is it really worth it for somebody to say it's looking in Gwinnett or Cobb? What's the advantage of, I guess, that 5,000 or more so putting them in a better position about, how you can get those funds, those down payment funds that might be even worth more than that 5,000 through gifting and seller contributions and stuff like that?
Well, I think the first thing to look at is there another down payment assistance program that's better than that.
Okay.
Because 5,000 is not that much. The closing costs are a little higher on Georgia Dream, so you may, after it's all said and done, be getting 3,000 or 3,500.
Yeah.
So we would look to see if there's another program that's a better fit.
Okay.
Well, speaking of closing costs, I think it's probably clear, it's important, I think, to sort of maybe explain what are closing costs and what's built into that big number that comes up at the end that buyers are typically responsible for coming up with, unless Great Homes ATL negotiates getting those closing costs reduced or removed, which we're really good at doing.
Yeah.
But no, Mark, if you could let our followers know what exactly are built into closing costs.
Well, when you buy a home, there are 3 things. You've got your down payment, if there is one. You have your closing costs, which the closing costs are the actual cost to close the deal. Most of them don't go to the mortgage company.
Okay.
The majority of the charges go to the attorney that's closing it, the state of Georgia, the appraiser, title insurance. So most of them we call third-party fees.
Okay.
Now, the other thing is what they call prepaids. And these are not charges, but they're money you need to set aside to pay the taxes and homeowner's insurance on the house.
Right.
So before you get to closing, you'll need to have a year's homeowner's insurance.
Okay.
You're going to put a certain number of months' taxes in an escrow account. The seller's going to owe from the beginning of the year to the time he closed, and then you owe for the rest of the year.
Okay. So in that scenario, what would you say? I've been telling people, they always ask, well, how much should I estimate for closing costs to be? In general, rule of thumb, I've been saying about 3.5% of the sales price. Is that kind of been where it's accurate?
It really varies depending on the price of the home.
Okay.
I mean, if you have a $400,000 home, it might be 2.1.
Okay.
If you had a $50,000 one, it might be 4.5 because some of them are fixed costs.
Right.
But I think a general rule of thumb is around 3%.
3%, yeah, that's all. I agree. So guys, when you're thinking about that, with down payment assistance, there are some benefits, and we just talked about Georgia Dream. Is there any other ones that you've worked with that you want to, tell our followers about? Any other programs, down payment assistance wise, that's been successful for you over the years?
Yeah, I mean, we have some conventional loans that are 100%.
Okay.
That they generally are income capped. Most of them are somewhere in the 70s.
Okay.
So if whoever's on the loan or a combination of people, you want to make sure you're under that cap.
Okay.
But it's actually a very good loan. The other thing too is almost all programs allow a gift from a family member. Mm-hmm. So if you're shorting your down payment, you might have a family member that would help you out, gift you the money.
Hit up grandma and grandpa. That's what they're there for, not just playing.
But a lot of folks don't know.
They don't know.
You can get it from a relative.
You can. That's the way to go for some people because, like Mark said, there's some advantages of it, but typically for down payment assistance in the overall marketplace, you're probably paying a little bit higher interest rate. Sometimes probably a little bit significantly higher compared to if you just got that money gifted and won a 3%, 5% conventional rate. We've seen rates around like 4%, 3.99 in our last deal.
If you can get the money as a gift, particularly if you can get 3%,
okay.
You're probably going to end up with a little bit better terms.
Not
to say that they're bad with down payment assistance, but whenever you can come up with your own 3%, you're probably going to have a little bit lower rate and a little bit lower PMI.
Gotcha. One other thing to talk about, since most of the time these are grant programs, people always ask the question, do I have to pay it back? How long do I have to stay in the house? What's your experience with that as well?
They vary. With Georgia Dream, if you stay in the home for 5 years, they forgive it. So even with the $15,000, you don't owe them anything.
Okay.
Now, there are some down payment assistance programs where they're going to loan you the money for the down payment. You're not going to make payments. You're not going to be charged interest. But when you sell the house, it'll be paid back.
Okay. So, the moral of the story, guys, is there is funds out there for you, but it is not an indefinite amount, right? They do have a certain amount every year. I think we get the email, every Thursday or Friday that comes out. At the beginning of the year, it might have started out with there's 1,000 available. I think they're down to like 150, 160, something like that. So the lesson of that is it's a kind of a first come, first served basis.
Correct.
Once it's gone, like any government program, once it's gone,
it's gone.
It's gone. So jump on it, see if you qualify for it, see if it's a good fit. If not, Mark's going to run the numbers to see if there's a better fit through gifting, or maybe you qualify for the 100% financing program. So
or there may be a backup if Georgia Dream runs out. We've got other
programs. Yeah. Anything else, Mr. Russell?
Well, now that you guys remember that I was back here serving the drinks.
Oh, is he back here? Okay.
No, I think this is all good information. I think that the best way for you all to find out what programs you qualify for, which one makes sense for your own personal scenario, would be to give Mark a call. Again, we'll make sure we put his contact information at the end of the video. Yeah. But definitely reach out, give him a call, see where you stand today, see where you could end up tomorrow. You could be in a house that you never thought was possible. So yeah, definitely reach out.
You have to get the last word. All right, guys, make it a great day. We're on to the next video, but down payment assistance, the best advice: give Mark a call, see if it's the right fit for you, and take advantage of it if it does.
Yeah,
All right.
don't be intimidated.
Don't be
I mean,
intimidated.
we're here to help.
Right. Does he look so intimidating?